I don't think Catherine thinks every day I must emulate my mother-in-law. Of course, she never knew Diana, but she has stated publicly, obviously, she is inspired by her. She found her an inspirational woman. But I think we have to go back really to William saying in that engagement interview, no one can step into my mother's shoes. My mother did a fantastic job, but Catherine will carve her own destiny and make her own future, and she'll do a very good job of it. And I think she has. But also, I think we have to remember that both William and Catherine are keen, I think, to keep Diana's memory very much alive, particularly for the children, you know, the granny that they never knew. And that started right out of the beginning when William chose to give Catherine the engagement ring, the famous engagement ring that we all remember, the sapphire ring that was Diana's. What a lucky girl she is. What a collection of jewels to choose from. I mean, not only Diana's, but also those in the royal collection, those that belong to the Queen, the late Queen. There are some earrings that very often Catherine has worn. They're diamond and pearl drop earrings. Actually, they're not so little. They're quite staggeringly large pearls, and she loves to wear those. And then there's the 4-string pearl choker that, because both women were and are so tall and slender with a beautiful neck, it really shows them off to great effect. And there's a bracelet that she often wears. Quite a few of Diana's jewels have been worn, actually quite a few times, quite often. But I think Catherine's favourites are those earrings. And I quite covet them myself, but I don't think she's going to lend them to me. You know, I think it's awfully easy for us to sit back and say, oh, she's copying or paying a tribute to Diana. I honestly don't think she wakes up every morning and thinks, no, I must do something to remember my mother-in-law. There are only so many maternity clothes you can wear. There are only so many designers you can go to. They both favoured Catherine Walker and Jennie Packham, and Catherine uses those a lot, but so did Diana. And I think, you know, when you've got to dress formally for these occasions that go round and round in the royal calendar, and so Diana went to all these engagements, and now Catherine's going to all these engagements. There is a look that all ladies of that calibre take to. So I don't think it is, you know, an out-and-out conscious tribute to Diana, but there are undeniably similarities. I mean, they're so tall, as they say, and slim and sporty, although Diana was more going to the gym and keen on building up her physique that way, whereas Catherine has just always been sporty with her hockey and her tennis and everything. But I suppose Diana was probably the first princess that we saw knocking about in a pair of trainers and shorts and keep fit gear. She made us get used to that. It was fairly surprising all those years ago after the general formality of Margaret and Elizabeth. So I think she sort of paved the way for Catherine to be much, much more informal. But the other thing is, you know, we talk about the Princess of Wales, and that was a title that was, you know, very difficult title for Camilla to even consider taking on, and I don't think she did consider for one moment being called Princess of Wales, though she was entitled to do so. And I think Catherine thought quite long and hard about it before taking the title Princess of Wales. But for the younger generation, Princess of Wales is Catherine. It's only people really who are middle-aged or older, like me, for whom the Princess of Wales was and perhaps always will be Diana. Young kids I talk to, they don't know who Diana is, you know. So I think Catherine has made that role and that title her own for the current generation. I think there are lots of similarities, actually, in the way that William and Catherine are bringing up their kids to the way Diana broke the mould, really. I mean, she sat in her drawing room telling me about how she felt that she wanted these royal princes to have an upbringing that was unlike any other royal princes before them. And there would be play days and work days, she said. I mean, she said, I love to give them on their play days the opportunity they can wear what they want. Pair of jeans, baseball cap, eat a burger, smothered in ketchup, or they go go-karting. Just lark about and have fun. But she said, I understand that they must learn as princes, royal princes, that they have to wear suits and ties and behave in that way on work days. No, I don't think that Catherine and William divide it like that either at all. But I think they both have that idea that they want their children to to enjoy something outside the strictures of royal life. And William and Catherine, as we know, have made their children their absolute priority. I mean, they've been criticised for it. William has certainly taken quite a lot of criticism for putting his family before his perceived duty. I applaud him. I think it's fantastic that he and Catherine want to bring up these children in a bubble of love and fun and laughter, whilst always acknowledging that their futures are going to be very different to most other kids on the block. I think actually Catherine is doing more to keep her children grounded than perhaps Diana was able to, because of the broken marriage, and she only had the children, some of the time, and they were away at school. And so perhaps she couldn't do as much as she wanted. But I mean, the very fact that Catherine's decided with William that they should live in this very modest, all right, lots of people think it's a hugely luxurious house, cottage, Adelaide Cottage. It's a lovely house. But it is only 4 bedrooms. They don't have staff living in. It is a normal family home, a very rich one, a very privileged one, but it does give that idea of coziness. They don't want to bring up their kids in a palace or a castle. Obviously, for William and for Harry, things were a bit different. They were mostly at Kensington Palace or at Eton School or at Highgrove, a lovely country house, but nevertheless extremely grand. So I think William and Catherine particularly, has been adamant that the kids have got to have a flavour of what real life is like. Well, I think Catherine has decided that she wants to control how much the children have to face the cameras, and that's why we see her taking photographs of the children. Diana didn't have so much control over the children, really, and obviously social media wasn't there, and that is a huge difference, actually. So I think Catherine has taken that idea of it one step further and taken control of not only the images that we see of the children most of the time, but of the social media. I think Catherine, as I was saying, was somewhat reluctant, perhaps, or not reluctant. I think Catherine was nervous about taking Princess of Wales title, and it's totally understandable. But you have got to be of a certain age to appreciate and to understand how extraordinary Diana was. I mean, there was not a day that went by that Diana wasn't on the front pages of the paper and in the news. She was an absolute icon. Sometimes it was unwelcome news, sometimes things had gone wrong, but mostly people were just admiring her. And so she made that title, the Princess of Wales, absolutely hers. But this is a new era, it's a new century, it's a new generation, and we have a new princess and a new Princess of Wales. And personally, I think she's absolutely brilliant at the role. I'm sorry we haven't seen much of her, obviously, this year for clear reasons, but I'm hopeful, especially after that little video we saw of them after the Olympic Games, where I thought she was looking really well. I'm hopeful that we'll see her back fulfilling that role as Princess of Wales and walking in Diana's footsteps before the year is out.